Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Portia Monique, and today I'll be your host. And today we have here with us Lester Booker Jr. He's a Plymouth Canton Community Schools graduate, longtime Canton resident, and national consultant and advisor to C-suite leaders with experience spanning higher education, sports and entertainment, automotive, and financial services. Today, we're discussing why he wants to bring that expertise home. Welcome to the show, Lester.
Thank you, Portia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here today.
Absolutely. So, I want to talk about your experience in running for you're a candidate for the Plymouth Canton Community Schools System School Board, right? And you describe yourself as a graduate returning to preserve excellence and shape the future. What inspired you to pursue a seat on the PCCS School Board education at this moment?
So many acronyms I know, but you did a
So
great
many
job. No, I think for me, you know, so much life has happened, and I think there's been a great opportunity for me to come back home, and to the things that I've worked on, the projects I've worked on, the relationships I've built, the experience I've built is a product of the district. So there's a great opportunity for me to come and give that back. I'm a big person of legacy and making sure, again, the seeds that have been sown in me that I give to others. So there's a great opportunity for me to come back and serve. Education is under attack, so I really want to be someone who is an advocate of education, an advocate of growth, and being able to provide that expertise to the school board and overall to the district, the students, the teachers, and the community.
Absolutely. And I want to put some context to I'm doing it again. And I want to put some context into which Plymouth Canton community schools we're referring to. And of course, this is in Michigan, close to
Yes.
Detroit. Canton is a very exclusive suburb of Detroit, Michigan, as well as Plymouth. And so that's the area that we're referring to. Now, your family moved from Detroit to Canton while you were
Yes.
still in school. How did that transition and your experience as a PCCS student shape the leader and public servant that you became?
It definitely was a very challenging time for me. This is back in the late '90s, and again, I my family moved in the middle of the school year. So I went to move from the east side of Detroit to Canton in the middle of my seventh grade year, and there was a lot of adjustments that I had to make to understand again the way that the world was and to understand again the opportunities in front of me. So my parents encouraged me to get involved in the community. And that's where I was able to lean into some programs within the specific Canton Township, the youth advisory program, where I actually got to work with other students in the district from different levels, backgrounds, and talk about problems and then learn the basics of a municipality and what how it operates in the community. So it was really a foundational point for me to really understand the opportunities that the district had for me, and again how I was going to feel. Again, it was a very big culture shock. Again, the '90s, late '90s, again, very different time than we're in today. So I had to make that adjustment, and then those basic skills really transferred for me going from middle school to high school to college, and then transforming into my career and some of the other board work and community service that I do within Metro Detroit and actually across the country.
I love that. I have a similar situation in my upbringing as well. I moved from San Francisco to Detroit in the middle of the school year too, so I can definitely relate to that.
Very big adjustment.
Yes, very big adjustment. Now, you grew up in Canton, but
Mhm.
you went on to build a national career advising executives and organizations across several major industries. Let's talk about that briefly for a bit as it pertains to your career trajectory and what brought you here.
Sure. Again, my foundation in Plymouth Canton, moving on to Central Michigan University. I had a great opportunity there to lean into some of the programs that they had there. I got my degree ultimately in broadcasting. So I was on TV news, love writing news. I used to watch the news with my family. We would look at the different stations and how the stories were told. And Channel 2 did it this way, Channel 4 did it this way. And that's something that always has resonated with me. So my major was broadcasting, double minor in public relations and journalism. And then I stayed there to get my master's degree. So I have a master's of science in administration. And a concentration of that is in sport administration. So during that time, simultaneously, I worked for the NBA with the Detroit Pistons. I tell people I was there during a time where there were five NBA coaches, three WNBA coaches, the ownership transition, and then a potential NBA lockout that almost occurred. So had a great grounding in public relations work and community relations, getting the players out there, being a spokesperson for the organization. Simultaneously after that, I transitioned into the automotive industry. I did work both with Ford Motor Company and General Motors. Both on the agency side, so again, supporting the brand from that side, and then to ultimately being a client. So I did work in marketing, got to do some really unique stuff, Ford Racing, NASCAR. So again, obviously not a lot of people, Portia, look like you and I are in those spaces. So being able to represent in those spaces and help the brands have best results. Did some great work with the NCAA partnerships that Buick had earlier on in mid 2014, 2015 timeframe. And then global communications for the last 5 years of my time there. So supporting the brands across all of General Motors, their North Division vans, and international communications, all the storytelling, making sure that the message that we were communicating both in North America simultaneously worked different spheres. So really exciting time there at General Motors. And then also was there during the George Floyd time. So obviously, again, obviously remember the reckoning that occurred 2000. So being able to advise Mary Barra, the CEO, and other leaders in the organization as to the importance of inclusion and how the company needs to rally behind and support causes. That was something again that was pivotal at my time there as well. And then
Mm,
lastly, I'm sorry I forgot to mention this. I don't know how. Lastly, being able to be the first person do storytelling for Citizens Bank on the national scale. So I was first vice president of diversity, equity, inclusion, communications for Citizens Bank. So working with the organization in markets across the footprint to tell stories, get leaders out there to talk about what was going on, look at opportunities for growth, and then the
yeah.
internal talent pipeline, creating for of color women to be able to move progressively move throughout the organization.
Such extensive experience. Congratulations to you on all of that.
Mhm. Thank
And
you.
now you're bringing that home back to
Yes.
Plymouth Canton. So, from that perspective and all of the experience that you've gained, what broader perspective would you bring back to the Plymouth and Canton community?
Yeah, I think really the experience I want to bring back is things are done on a global scale, looking at um, opportunities to bring things back for the district to consider. Again, the time that we're in now is a very different time. Again, there's a lot of funding challenges. There's less state students in the state of Michigan. You have school of choice, so individuals can where they want to go to school. So how do you preserve such a tremendous district like Plymouth Canton Community Schools and really
Mhm.
innovate and take things to the next level? So that's something I really want to do. I also really want to focus on listening. One of the things within my career as a communicator, you have to be an active listener at the same time. So being able to hear concerns from parents, hear concerns from students, hear concerns from teachers, and being able to take that feedback and being able to bring that in certain spaces and to dialogue of this discussion. Everything might not be able to be adapted, but being able
Yeah.
to have that very important. Also, again, I think the other thing to consider as well that a lot of people have lost faith in the government, so they look for school boards, they look for these type of entities really to help make change and be the representation in the community.
Now, if you guys weren't paying attention, I'm just going to reiterate for you four industries across major companies. Now he's coming back home, and those four industries were higher education, sports and entertainment, automotive, as well as financial services. Now, which lessons from those industries are most applicable to the governance and oversight responsibilities of a school board?
Oh, that's a great question, Portia. I really think the to within those spaces, I've had to work with people that don't look like me, people from different backgrounds, and being able to come together to collaborate, make decisions, and push things forward and have progress. So I think that's really important. Being able to work and collaborate with people who you normally don't interact with. That's very important. I think being able to forward think. Innovate is very important. Push the boundaries. I think that's very important to challenge the status quo. That's very important in this kind of climate. And I think at the end of the day, again, going back to the active listening, making sure
Hmm.
again that you're taking a variety of different viewpoints before a
Yeah.
decision is made.
Yeah.
And of course, financial flexibility, being able to look at budgets. I've been in conversations at organizations where budgets are very tight, and how are we going to do something that the client wants us to do? How are we going to make a cut because money's being taken away? Those kind of things you'll have to be able to have very good
Hmm.
governance in the school districts right now with this kind
Yeah.
of that we're in.
Yeah, yeah. You just mentioned budget pressures, potential staffing reductions, lack of trust in government right now as well as student and safety, right? Which issue requires the board's most immediate attention, in your opinion, and how would you
Mhm.
approach that?
That's a very good question. And to be honest with you, I think these are all top issues. And I think you'll have to work together to progress all of those things forward. I don't think there's really, to be honest with you, just one that we would have to just look at and just,
Yeah.
if I was be able to sit in the seat in November after the election,
Hmm.
all those things require immediate care. So that's why I think it's going to be important that you have a group of individuals that can look at various issues together and progress those things forward
Yeah.
at such a critical time as now.
Yeah. In that same vein, what do you see as the most pressing issues or range of issues and challenges facing PCCS right now?
Yeah, besides, I think the things that you said, those are all true. I think, again, student enrichment and making sure that our students are prepared. Again, AI is a game changer, right? So we have to make sure that our students understand AI and understand how it can be used, that it's not all bygones to be bygones, but we have to understand because things are moving very quickly right now.
Yeah.
And if you look at the marketplace, a lot of people's roles and jobs are being eliminated as a result of AI taking over and making things more efficient. So that's going to be something important, and I think making sure that our teachers are equipped with the resources and the skills that they need to teach our students. Again, it's
Mhm.
a very different time now than when you and I were in high school, you and I were in
Yeah.
middle school. So I think that requires a different attention. So we need to make sure that they have the training and the resources that they need to be make sure that our students are successful.
Yeah. I love it. And speaking of successful students, as you were one, of course, you have your MSA. What role do you believe that alumni and community partnerships should play in supporting PCCS?
Yeah, I think it's critical. The other boards I work on, my alma mater, Central Michigan University, Fire Up Chips. Um, I'm on the alumni board, and I lead one of our committees called University Alumni Engagement. We work to relationships with our alums across the nation. We have over
Hmm.
250,000 alums across our nation. So I think, from a local perspective, when it comes to Plymouth Canton, there are alums all over the place. When I travel for some of the work that I do, I see them. I see people in the airport. So I think really telling those stories, utilizing people as speakers, I think is so important, and bringing that
Yeah.
expertise home as that was their foundation. But alums play a critical role, and that will be something I look into as well. Partnerships, yeah, how other districts are doing things. There are multiple districts that are, large scale districts across the state of Michigan specifically.
Hmm.
So looking at how they're doing things. And again, we're all kind of in this challenging time right now. So I think it'll be critical for us to kind of see what again is going on and how we all can together ensure students across the state are successful.
Absolutely. And you also worked extensively in diversity, equity, as well as inclusion. How has that work shaped your understanding of educational access, student belonging, as well as responsible public service?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Again, been in this work before it was popular, before it was called DEI officially. I
Yeah.
back again to my upbringing, moving to Canton, understanding I had a culture shock when I moved to Canton, understanding the world was a very large place, understanding there were people who did not look like me, and again, how do you engage and create an environment that fosters support for
Hmm.
different people who look like different, different ways and come from different backgrounds. So that understanding early on was very helpful for me. And then just in the work that I did, even through college and going into my professional career, being an advocate for inclusion, being an advocate for in the workplace, fairness among students, making sure that I'm as a leader cultivating that people feel safe, that people feel like they can belong, that they can bring their best selves to work as well as to groups. So that's something I pride myself on because
Hmm.
it's very critical. I think we all are our best when we feel safe and we feel and to give ideas where things aren't slammed down. We have the opportunity to grow and learn from each other. But inclusion is very, very key. I know that it's been under attack. Some new administration has come into play, but it's not going anywhere. A
Yeah.
great stat for everyone to understand: 2044, there's going to be more multicultural consumers. This is from the Census
Hmm.
Bureau than general
Hmm.
market. So the minority is going to be the majority. So it's not going anywhere. Brands
Hmm.
across different spheres are having to learn how to communicate and market specifically to these communities. So
Yeah.
again, it's going back to a more local perspective. It's very important that that environment is cultivated.
Yeah. And we're about to ramp this interview down, but I want to talk to you about core values and how
Mm,
they would guide your leadership and decision making, particularly when community opinions, conflict, and
mm.
resources are limited.
Yeah, I think, the basic of it is understanding. Again, I'm grateful to have this opportunity, campaign for this office. Um, I think, leading with integrity, very critical. I think, again, pushing the status quo is very, very critical. And having, and I'll just say it like this, a backbone and understanding that, the people are going to elect me into this role, understanding that I'm the representation for the people, and that's all people. Is again what necessarily I may want to do as Lester per se, and
Yeah.
want to make sure that again the decisions I'm making and the I'm discussing with other board members when those tough decisions come are really at the best interest of our students, teachers, and the community. So again, those are kind of really my focus areas or values in terms of leading with integrity, leading by example, continue to innovate, push things through as some of these different difficult decisions will come up.
Yeah, of course. And of course, you've also been transparent about not having any children enrolled in the district. How
Mm,
will you remain closely connected to the lived experiences and
yeah.
concerns, as well as the evolving needs of PCCS students as well as families?
Yes, of course. Just I don't have of my own. I have five god kids, and I have a host of the nephews. So again, education and their betterment is very important to me. One of the things I do, even in my own neighborhood, I walk my neighborhood and I talk to students. I talk to community members. I hear kind of what's going on, as well as in high school at the park. I actually go and to students in the marketing class, Mrs. Johnson, Kyra Johnson. Went to her class for several years. And then again, I was a former athlete. I played football at Canton High School. I was a 4-year Letterman award winning. And I went back and spoken to, again, our Canton, our Clinton football program. So I try to get sure I'm engaged. And I think it's very, very important to do so. One of the other things I thought about, again, thinking about this opportunity is really to create some focus groups and having various events where I can, and forums where I can actually hear firsthand feedback from
Mhm.
a variety of different families, parents to hear again what's going on, and again to partner with some of the local organizations. I think hearing that feedback and the lived experiences of what people are going through in this time is going to be critical, and I think the board has to be receptive of those things as we continue to push forward.
Yes, yes, yes. At the conclusion of your service, what measurable impact would you want students, families, as well as educators to associate with your time on the board?
No, that's an amazing question, Portia. I really want people to see that was willingness to hear them, their opinions and concerns heard and seen. Something may not have been able to happen in the immediacy. So I think that's very, very important. Again, looking at opportunities that we think of to ensure that the enrichment of our students, our student programs, and then our leaders are supported and our teachers are supportive. So I just want that support to be felt there. And again,
Mhm.
using our board meetings, the forum to come out and voice concerns. Again, I want to make sure that I'm a visible person within the Plymouth Canton community, which I am. But if people see me and they have questions and they have feedback and concern, that they feel comfortable doing so. And again, I as an individual will be receptive of that as well.
Lester Booker Jr., thank you so much for sharing your vision and showing how professional leadership, community service, and lived experience can come together to support the future of PCCS. Take care
Thank you so much.
and let us know where we can follow you, give our support, maybe donate, vote,
Yes.
any of the things that might be as well as a benefit for you.
Yes, we have several platforms. I can share those links with you, and you
Okay.
can put those on there. We're on Facebook, on Instagram. We do have a website. And again, November 3rd is Election Day. You'll see us out in the community at a variety of different events, but November 3rd is our big day. So again, we ask for your vote, ask for our vision to make sure, again, the legacy of Plymouth Canton Community Schools is kept during these challenging times.
Yeah. And again, Plymouth, Canton, and Michigan. So,
Yes.
congratulations on all of your success and everything that you're doing. We're looking forward to connecting with you. One last question in terms of your personal social media, as well as maybe your campaign social media. How do we follow you personally to keep up with all of the great and amazing things that you're doing?
Absolutely. We have newer platforms, so I'm actually going to read them for you. So we're on Instagram at Lester Booker Jr. for PCS,
Okay.
PCCS. So
Mm-hmm.
that is again, say it one more time, Lester Booker Jr. for PCCS. That is us on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. Say it again for you too. So these are new platforms, so I'm still getting adjusted to them.
Uh-huh. No
So
worries.
on Facebook we are on Facebook. You can find us at Lester Booker Jr. for PCCS School Board. So please follow us. We're going to have a variety of different content there,
Mm-hmm.
and our website is still in final development. So we will share more of that on those social platforms when it is ready. But we are definitely excited. So please again follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we certainly will. Take care and we'll see you in the future.